Okay, welcome back to, I don't know why I keep walking into the wardrobe. Welcome back to part 3 of the Positive Images Festival workshop for this Sunday. Of course we are online because we can't leave our houses, but thank you for joining me anyway. And I would also like to give a big shout out to everybody who usually attends these workshops. I've had so many emails and messages of support, including some letters in the post, which has been really lovely. So thank you. And thank you for so many of you for sharing your poems with me that you wrote as a result of the last workshop. I am always absolutely bowled over by the quality that you manage to come up with from these activities. And if you do want to share them again this time, then feel free to message me or email me or post them out to me. You can go on the Facebook page, my details are on here, or on my website. And it's really lovely for us and for Positive Images who fund these workshops to see what comes out of them. So thank you, and keep going with all your amazing writing. We usually do something called a best practice quote, which is where I find a quote from a writer, often but not always a poet, and just gives us some food for thought. So this one is by Margaret Atwood, and I'm sure many of you have heard of Margaret Atwood for very obvious reasons. She's had quite a good year in the last 12 months, and she's also had like a very long writing career, but I will read her bio anyway. Margaret Atwood was born in Ottawa, Ontario in 1939. She's Canada's most eminent novelist and poet, and also writes short stories, critical studies, screenplays, radio scripts and books for children. Her works have been translated into over 30 languages. Now that's a bio you'd love to have, isn't it? So her quote is, "Perhaps I write for no one. Perhaps for the same person children are writing for when they scrawl their names in the snow." I just thought that was a wonderful quote. Really beautiful. Perhaps I write for no one, perhaps for the same person children are writing for when they scrawl their names in the snow. Margaret Atwood. So there's something to think on. Who do you write for and why are you writing? And if you just write for yourself, do you know what? That is absolutely fine too. There's no wrong answer to that question. So, sticking with the theme of place and sacred places, special places, we're all spending quite a lot of time at home lately. A lot of us are. I know there are, big shout out to several of my friends and to everybody else who is still going to work, and many of whom are, saving lives and making sure that we are getting deliveries still and making sure we can get food from shops and things. But there's a lot of us who are having to spend more time at home. So I thought this is a nice opportunity for those of us that are doing that to think about a room in our house, like a special place, because every room has its own character. If you think about what goes on in that room, who uses it, the smells, the actions, you can probably hear some noises in my room. If those of you who know me will know, that is the 5 guinea pigs that live here. Think about what items are in that room that are personal to you, what characteristics they have. Just noticed I've got guinea pig hair on me actually. So Joyce Sidman wrote a poem that takes place in her bedroom, and I really hope that you'll enjoy the wonderful images that this poem is absolutely bursting with. Sidman usually writes for children, but I just love this poem, and I hope you will as well. So I will give you a little read of her bio, because we all love a bio. Joyce Sidman, born in 1956, is the author of many award-winning children's poetry books. Her recent book, The Girl Who Drew Butterflies, How Maria totally ruined saying that, I'll start that one again. The Girl Who Drew Butterflies, How Maria Merion's Art Changed Science, won the 2019 Robert F. Sibbert Medal. If you want to hear that without me babbling it, Wikipedia. She also received the NCTE Award for Excellence in Children's Poetry in recognition of her whole body of work. In her home state of Minnesota, she teaches poetry. She teaches writing to school children, and she walks through the woods with her dog, Watson, and I'm guessing this is the dog that features in the poem that is set in her bedroom that we're going to have a look at. I think that's probably why I especially liked it. So to help me read this poem, I have got a special helper, which is where this has all come from. So please welcome the beautiful Molly. Molly's quite loud, aren't you? Say hello. Yeah. So Molly is an Abyssinian guinea pig. She's the largest one that I have, and if I was writing a poem about my bedroom, it would absolutely include Molly and her furry family. So we're going to read this one together, okay? It's called Dog in Bed by Joyce Sidman. Nose tucked under tail, you are a warmed, third planet, centred in my bed. All night I orbit, tangle-limbed in the slim space allotted to me. If I accidentally bump you from sleep, you shift, groan, drape your chin on my hip. Oh, that languid movie star drape, I can never resist it. Digging my fingers into your fur, kneading, I wonder, how do you dream? What do you adore? Why should your black silk ears feel like happiness? This is how it is with love. Once invited, it steps in gently, circles twice, and takes up as much space as you will give it. And I just really love that, especially the ending. I just really love that, probably because I'm a sucker for furry friends. So that poem is by Joyce Sidman and it's called Dog in Bed. The place in this poem is really important because that's how we get that sense of space. You know, we get the idea that she's giving most of her bed up to her dog. Those of you who've got dogs and cats, amongst other things, rabbits I've had in my bed before, because when it's winter they come into the house and they will jump on you in the middle of the night. So those of us that have animals who like to come in and share our bed with us, I think will especially appreciate this poem. But of course the dog is also a real main part of this poem and what the dog stands for, which is essentially love and unconditional love, isn't it, Moles? So here's the activity based on this poem. It would be amazing if you would choose a room in your house, and it can be your bedroom, like Joyce Sidman. Have a think of those things I listed earlier, you know, the smells, what's going on in the room, who uses the room, who you share the room with, if you've got pets, if you've got children, if you're on your own, that space will have a different sense to it than if you live with 6 other people. So have a real think about what makes your room unique, what gives it its character. And the room can almost act like a character, like, you know, in this poem. Or it can just be a sort of quiet, necessary place, as it is in Joyce Sidman's poem. You know, we need it to take place in that room for it to work as this poem, but it's not the most important thing, it just sits there in the background. So this is our final activity. So I would love to say thank you so much for all your support so far. Thank you, keep writing. If you enjoy these, we have the real sessions in face-to-face form, usually on the last Sunday of every month at Coventry Central Library. Feel free to get in touch with me if you've got any questions or comments. And you're welcome, as I said earlier, to share your poems and your thoughts on the Facebook page. We also have a Facebook group, which I've shared the link to on this page previously. But if you want to search for it, you can search for Positive Images Festival Poetry Workshops, and I believe we come up top because that catchy title is only owned by us, so you should be able to find it very easily. Once again, stay well, stay safe, and keep writing. Okay, thank you so much. Bye. Come on, you.